Hello and welcome to the Relationship Anxiety Podcast. I'm your host, Ksenia, a certified relationship anxiety life coach. And our topic today is what to do when you feel like you need to manage everyone's emotions around you. I feel like this is a very good topic for the holiday season because we are around our family and friends so much, and it can be really easy to feel like we need to manage the emotions of everyone around us, whether that be at a family dinner or at a work party. And so, yeah, I feel like this episode is very timely. We just had Thanksgiving and we have Christmas coming up, and I'm hopeful that this episode will kind of help prepare you for Christmas time and some of the stress that comes with that. So, for all my people pleasers out there, this episode is especially for you. I've noticed that us people pleasers often feel the need to manage the emotions of people around us, right? So we want everyone to be happy. We want to make sure that everyone's comfortable and happy, like I said. And we will even put other people's happiness in front of our own comfort, right? And this can be really stressful at gatherings full of many people because it becomes really difficult to manage the emotions of everyone involved. So maybe you're at a Christmas family dinner and you feel the need to like manage your mom's emotions and your dad's and your sister and your brother and your dog. And all of these emotions can be really contradictory, right? Like maybe it's impossible for your mom and your sister to be happy, and it can just be really exhausting. And then you throw in bringing a boyfriend or something, a partner to Christmas dinner, and you have a whole other person's emotions that you're trying to manage, and it can be really anxiety inducing. And so that is why I want to talk about managing other people's emotions today and why that happens, and then a helpful reframe. So, this part of us that wants to manage other people's emotions comes from a really good place. It is usually a protective place, and it can be for so many different reasons. But maybe growing up, you felt like you needed to tiptoe around everyone's emotions so that they wouldn't get angry at you. Or maybe your worth was wrapped up in the way other people viewed you and saw you. And so you really felt the need to manage their emotions so that you felt good enough. Or maybe you come from like a really big family or like parents who are really busy. And so being easy was really important to you. It was really important that you were the easy child. All of these are reasons that we can become people pleasers. Now, people pleasing is basically when we are extra aware of all of the emotions around us and we're trying to make everyone happy. And this can happen at a detriment to us, right? Like we would just want to make sure that everyone is happy, and even if it means that we're unhappy or that we are uncomfortable. But like I said, this people pleasing part of us that wants to make everyone happy comes from a really beautiful place. It comes from part of us that maybe just wants everyone to be happy, or that is, like I said, protective, trying to make sure that there aren't any negative emotions going on, that no one's going to get angry, that no one is going to yell at you, or that no one around you gets too overwhelmed. And it's really important to recognize people pleasing as coming from a good place, because when we judge ourselves for people pleasing, it makes it so much harder to change. But when we have compassion for ourselves and we understand where people pleasing comes from, we're able to change from a place of compassion. Now, it might feel really scary to you to let go of people pleasing, which is totally valid. People pleasing has served you really, really well for a lot of your life. And so it can feel so scary to let go of people pleasing. So, the first thing that we want to remember when we're overcoming people pleasing and managing everyone's emotions around us is to trust the people around us that they can manage their own emotions. This one is tricky, and I still fall into the trap with my husband of thinking that I need to manage his emotions and forgetting that he can manage them. So sometimes this even happened today, where He was frustrated at something, and I started trying to fix it. I started trying to manage his emotions and trying to make him feel better because I didn't want him to be angry. Instead of remembering, like, he is capable of managing his own emotions in whatever way and whatever time he needs. That I don't have to be the person that's in charge of his emotions. I'm in charge of my emotions, and he's in charge of his emotions. And this can be really scary. It can be really hard. You might say, like, oh no, but I actually don't trust my partner or my family to manage their own emotions. And what I would say to that is if they are not able to manage their own emotions, it's still not your job to do it for them. Instead, as you learn to let them be in charge of their emotions, they might see that they need to grow. If you're always people pleasing and managing their emotions, they won't see that they need to grow and that they need to learn how to manage their own feelings. So, you are not in charge of anyone else's brain. They're in charge of their brain. They are in charge of the way that they interpret the world. You can't always control that. And it is actually so freeing to realize that you can show up in whatever way feels authentic to you, and what someone else thinks about it says way more about them than it does about you. So if you bring your partner to Christmas dinner, and let's say that he is really introverted, and your sister or your mom, they start to judge him. And they think, oh, he must not be a very good boyfriend. He's not talking very much. He can't hold a conversation. That judgment says more about your mom and your sister than it does about you or your partner, right? In the exact same circumstance, maybe you go to Christmas dinner, your partner's introverted. In that exact same circumstance, your mom and your sister could think, wow, he listens really well. He's a really good listener, and he is a great partner. Do you see how their judgment about him, like what they think about him, says more about them than it does about you or your partner? Now, I remember that when I was really trying to show up in the world in this way that I'm telling you, where I let everyone else be in charge of their own emotions, I started to have this dilemma where I was like, well, why should I ever even be nice to anyone? Because they're in charge of their own emotions, right? Like if I say something mean and everyone else is in charge of their own emotions, they can just overcome it, right? Like what is going to stop me from being mean? Not that I wanted to, but I just like was having this dilemma in my brain of like, okay, well, if everyone else is in charge of their emotions, what is going to stop me from being mean? Right? Because I was showing up in the world trying to be kind to everyone so that they felt good, so that they felt good about themselves, or so that they were happy. And if that wasn't my reasoning, then what was going to stop me from showing up in the world in a rude way? Right? And in talking to my coach about this, she brought up this really beautiful reframe that I want to offer to you guys today. And that is the reason that you show up kindly in the world, that you show up with grace and goodness to people, is not so they feel good or happy or any way. But the reason that we show up with grace and goodness and kindness to people is because that is who we want to be. I want to be someone who's kind and someone who's full of grace, someone who is full of goodness. And this gets rid of so much resentment and so much anxiety and stress. It's so freeing to be able to show up in the world in the way that I want to, just because it's the person I want to be, and not because I'm trying to manage anyone else's emotions. So, that is my invitation to you guys this week and this month, just this whole holiday season, is when you feel like you need to manage everyone else's emotions around you, when you feel like you need to people please, is just to remember that the people around you are capable of handling their own brains and their own emotions. And if they're not, they can learn to do so. But then, most importantly, is to show up in the world in the way that you want to, a way that is authentic for you, a way that is full of grace and goodness and kindness because it's the person you want to be. Have a lovely week, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.